Hello, ladies and gentlemen. This is Dreadnought here with Kai Berries actually today, casting here for the Divergent Gaming Amateur Series. We got a lot of awesome games I think going to be coming in today. We are going to start out here with eLevate versus Something Clever. How much do you know about these teams, Kai?
I love watching eLevate play. I have never seen something clever though, so I'm very excited to see them.
Yeah, no, I haven't seen much coming out from Something Clever. Actually, that's a new name. Actually, we have a lot of new names, I believe, here from at least last week on the amateur tournament here. Noob Phalem, they're returning. Excelsior, that's a team I haven't seen yet. Team Higher Conscious, I believe, was competing there. Actually, THC, they were the ones that had. I don't know if you watched this tournament. They had a lot of really interesting rotations in the semifinals versus Gale Force Esports. They ended up getting knocked out, but I was really impressed with a lot of the rotations they ended up having as a team. Later down the bracket, we have Harmony, Gossip Girls, Fat Kid Kiting, Unstable, Team Nom, Moist Encounters once again with the great name, the Chow Chow Chow, Midwinter actually, which I believe is pulls from a World of Warcraft claim.
Yeah, yeah. One
Toilets,
of the best, yeah.
yeah, one of the best. Gale Force Esports, and then level 17 Brightwing. Who are you predicting to win?
I don't know who I'm predicting to win. I know who I'm rooting for, but I don't know who I'm predicting.
All right. Who are you rooting for?
I am rooting for eLevate.
You're rooting for Elevate.
Yeah, cross your fingers.
I do you have a reason for that? You just want to see kind of like a dark horse style come through? Because I believe that Gale Force is still going to be the. I guess maybe. I don't know Gale Force versus Elevate. I probably would say actually Elevate might be the most expected out of that. I also am rooting for Elevate, but that's largely
Yay.
because Snapple fact about Dreadnought. I actually went to college with Hawkfu. He
Ooh,
competed on my League of Legends LAN, University of Wyoming League of Legends LAN team with me.
that is a good Snapple fact for Dreadnought.
Yeah. No, it's a good time. I'm pretty close with him, but it looks like we already got the draft up here. I'm going to apologize beforehand, ladies and gentlemen. I actually messed up on making a draft screen before this tournament started, so it's going to take me 2 seconds to get this up. Did you get the draft link?
No.
I'll be getting that to you here in one moment.
Nobody loves us, Dread.
Nobody loves us, apparently, dude. Last time Zoya was all over on top of that stuff. So give me 1 second, guys. I'm going to be getting to this. I need.
There we go. Thank you.
And here we go. Sorry, 1 second again, guys. I apologize for this. Rip property. There we go. Now we have the draft here. They haven't gotten to it quite yet, but we will be getting started relatively soon here. It looks like Something Clever is readied up. So what do you expect out of the picked bands here coming out from eLevate then, if they are your preferred?
Well, we got to see Taranda, right? Picks her band, I would assume.
I mean, I think that's something you can definitely expect out of them. I think Toronto will be a dominant thing throughout the entire tournament. One thing I
Absolutely.
do know out of eLevate actually is that they are very, very big on melee assassins. I don't think I've ever seen Nesper play a non-melee assassin ever, actually. Even when I run into him in Hero League and everything else. So I'll be interested to see what they look to do with, I think specifically Thrall is something we're going to see a lot of out of him. If Thrall and Sonya seem some kind of pick band that I'm not used to, I think we might even see a Kerrigan out of him.
That would be very fun to watch.
Yeah. No, I think they've already picked the maps here too. I don't think this is an accurate pick band here, but we're gonna find out. What do you think? What map do you think we're gonna be going to here today?
Well, I definitely like watching the terrible maps, but I assume we're gonna see one of the more regular maps. Maybe Sky Temple, maybe Cursed Hollow. I mean,
I honestly feel like a lot of teams have been moving towards the Diablo-based maps more recently. It seems like the more traditional maps have kind of fallen out of play, at least with the amateur series. I don't think I saw. I think Sky Temple was probably the oldest map that I. No, there was Cursed Hollow. Cursed Hollow was played at least twice. So right now we have Cursed Hollow, Sky Temple, and Tomb of the Spider Queen still available here.
Tomb of the Spider Queen is my favorite map, so maybe I'm gonna
Maybe.
hope Hmm.
It's actually it's one of my least favorite maps, largely because I feel like the first turn-in can snowball the map so heavily. So I'm glad we have different point of views on that. Maybe we'll give our little insight on how we think that it should be played a little better or a little worse on the competitive scene here. Actually, we lost it there. It gets banned, or we still have it in Kursalo, actually.
Oh
A
boy, there we
dream.
go.
Tomb of the Spider Queen it is.
Oh, look at that, my favorite. Oh, I'm excited.
Here we go. I think the first pick is going to go in favor of eLevate here. I don't think we'll see a Toronto ban largely because I think they'll force something clever into banning it. They do ban out a Rainer. I think that's interesting on this map. I would have expected a Zagar in that position. Out of something clever here, I definitely look for a Toronto.
Raynor is very strong right now. Maybe they know something about something clever that they really excel with Raynor. I mean, he's a solid pick.
No, yeah, he definitely might be a pocket pick out of something clever. They might have played them, scrimmed against them. Instantly a Thrall. They aren't even going to sit back. That was what I wanted to see. I don't know if that was the right pick rotation, but the Thrall coming out for Nesper, I'm really excited to see this. I know he has absolutely destroyed me a couple games in Hero League with this Thrall, so I'm excited to see how this plays out. That does leave, though, open Murden and also leaving open Kel'Thas for something clever. I don't know. Like I said, I know nothing, almost nothing about something clever, so I'm not going to be able to have much feedback on what I think they might be able to pick ban here, but the Thrall for eLevate is definitely something I wanted to see. There it is. Murden KT.
Just like you thought, and the Tyrande band, just like you thought. So, and there's
No
Zagara.
hesitation. I love it. I love it. I love it. Zagara Sylvanas. Zagara and Thrall synergize really, really well here. Hitting a Sundering, splitting the team with a follow-up Maw is just really great. It also gives them insane laning and wave clear across the board. For Thrall, Zagara, one of the best laners in the game. Sylvanas with absolutely phenomenal wave clear. So, honestly, if they get a first turn in, they're going to snowball this game very heavily in their favor.
Yeah,
In my opinion.
yeah, I did say how much I like Tomb of the Spider Queen, and I like Sylvanas on this map.
Yeah.
Like she has such great wave clear, and you need that to get those turn-ins, and like you said, the snowball potential. And there's a Diablo ban.
That is an interesting ban. Honestly, I figured they would go for more of an ETC ban here, forcing them onto a Johanna, but that wouldn't even be the end of the world if they did that. Diablo just seems a little bit out of place. I would like to see a healer ban coming out from eLevate here, but they probably will refrain, largely because I think they want the Uther in order to try and synergize with the Thrall. But at the same time, I mean, I guess I don't know. I don't see much that something clever can do in terms of their pick ban. A Tassadar. Okay, trying to take away more of the sustain type wave, and it removes a wave clear from the team too. So they are going to be a little crippled at least until 13 for the wave clear.
You know, Tassadar is pretty good on this map as well. If you can have him go in the bottom lane, he can solo fairly well, and then the top lane, you can rotate back and forth. If that was something they were trying to deny from
Yeah.
something clever, we don't know much about them, so it's hard to predict what they're going to do.
If you're elevating this type of situation, what do you look to round out your composition with?
Kale and Murden can go with so many different teams. It depends on what they plan on playing. I don't know enough about them to know what kind of play style they have. They could fit so much in there.
A Kerrigan Uther. I actually really like this. I like that decision making a lot. And it leads to a hyper aggressive style composition, the Uther being able to synergize well with the Kerrigan here.
Oh
But then it
yeah.
also, their biggest weakness right now as a comp is their wave clear. And they're just going to say, well, we don't need to worry about wave clear if we're going to win levels 1 through 10. And as long as they are able to capitalize really, really heavily on that in the early game, I think we might see some success out of them. But honestly, if they fall behind in the early game, I see almost no way other than a absolute great flank and combo from Kerrigan to win this game.
Oh yeah, I mean that's a dangerous game to play, picking Kerrigan. It's so aggressive.
Again, they lost another wave clear there to the Johanna. Everybody, I mean, Thrall's not the best wave clear, but I'm really afraid if they don't get away with the combos here, especially Johanna being able to deny the Kerrigan combo with their passive in the early game. If they do not snowball this game, eLevate has got so much pressure and such a beautiful team comp with their isolation, splitting, and hard CC that I don't see them. Something clever has to just catch them up by surprise or snowball the game so hard pre-10.
Yeah, and if they're not able to isolate Sylvanas, that Wailing Arrow after 10 is able to just shut down so much of something clever.
Yeah.
Kael'thas and Kerrigan are both pretty vulnerable to the Wailing Arrow.
No, the counter engage would be really great, especially if a Divine Shield doesn't come out. I mean, before the Wailing Arrow hits, it could lead to a dead Kerrigan. It's great counter engage. Jaina is one of the few other characters that's actually a really good. Ma is also a great counter engage. Like, they just, I don't know. I don't know. There's so much good counter engage. Jaina is the only other character who I would, in the early game at least, be able to say is a really good counter engage. But overall here, I'm really impressed with eLevate's composition. Like I said, I feel like something clever is very hyper focused on snowballing the early game. But I mean, that early game is so strong that eLevate's gonna have to play really safe here in the lanes, especially the Zagara. I'm really worried about her. This last pick has actually come through, but it's not showing up yet. Your prediction?
I see Vala,
Yeah,
actually.
I see it as well.
Yeah.
I think it would be. It is not showing up for me. Did it actually pop up for you?
Yeah.
Oh, rip. It didn't for me. I think Vala would be the best pick, in my
Yeah.
opinion, for them. It allows them to, in the later parts of the game here, if they don't actually get the pick, the Vala with the W build is what I hope she's going for. The slow, the chase, and the AoE damage is definitely going to be something eLevate's going to have a hard time dealing with. Granted, Rhaegar post 16 with tidal waves. There's the Vala pick. Actually is a pretty good answer to Vala a little bit. I would be really disappointed if we saw a Q build here. I feel like isolated damage is not what they need to win team fights. They need her to be the one who accents the Kerrigan and Kael'thas single target explosion and the chain bomb procs in the late game. I think they need a W build strafe here for sure.
Yeah, more AoE damage. They have plenty of single target. They need to spread it out and kind of put pressure on Rhaegar to not be able to focus so much, spread out their damage.
If we're to look purely on draft, who do you think wins? This isn't knowing the team or anything. Just you 100% only have the draft. In your opinion, who's going to win this game?
I'm still gonna go with eLevate. I just something clever. They have a strong early game team, but it's so they need a very specific early game to win. It's the edge of a knife, you know. If they
Yeah.
don't get exactly what they need, there's so many situations where they could lose.
No, I very much agree with you there. I think Kerrigan, Murden, and Kael'thas in their rotations are going to have to be so on point that if they do not manage to make it with roughly a one-level lead by at least level 13, I don't see them being able to snowball this game in their favor.
Yeah, I agree there. I mean, they could. That's the whole edge of a knife. If they get exactly what they need, they can slice right through. But if they don't, they could fall over the edge. And Elevate's comp is much more balanced.
No, I very much agree with you. I think it rounds out pretty well. Thrall can respond a little bit, at least to the early game. Sylvanas within Venom actually doesn't do that little of damage. She could help with a counter engage as well. I would really like to see the rotation decision coming from something clever. I think they need to be looking to almost 100% running a 1-4 rotations with the 4-man between mid and the lane where eLevate is rotating to. One thing that I think is going to be really important for this game here is that I actually think it's absolutely crucial that something clever, if eLevate is running a one person, which it will be the Thrall or the Zagara, in a side lane and then running 4-man rotations between the other two, I absolutely think something clever needs to chase them. They need to force them to fight, or they need to make sure that they sneak a Kerrigan to isolate in that rotation and kill which is going to be Zagara hopefully, in the side lane where she is separated by herself. They need to really force as hard as they possibly can.
Yeah, their whole build is built around that early game engagement and aggression. They have to force fights in the beginning. They're not going to be able to outlane or outlevel. Team fighting is what they have to do.
Oh, absolutely. But it does look like the game is actually going to start here. I'm excited. I think a lot of this game is going to come down to Johanna's passive too in the laning phase. I know that seems really weird, but honestly, she's a large portion of the initiation of the wave clear coming out from eLevate, and rotations are absolutely crucial on this map. Not only for this map, but then also compositionally, I think rotations are their forte, and I really do think that we need to see them. If Johanna pops her passive too early, she'll end up getting picked off in a lot of these situations, and it makes me worried about how she's going to play it out. But I do have confidence in eLevate. I've seen them a little bit. As I said before, I do know Akfu and have talked to the team. I know they're a pretty solid team. I've even scrimmed them a little bit in my career, so But here we go into the game here on the left-hand side. We have eLevate here. We have Hawkfu on the Zagara. Nesper is sitting on the Thrall. Boss Floss on the Johanna. June sitting on the Rhaegar. And Basics on the Sylvanas.
All right, and on the right side, we have Something Clever. It is Debonair on Muradin, Brosidon on Kael'thas, Phenom on Uther, Variations on Kerrigan, and Riker on Vala.
And here we see the teams. They're going to be moving to the mid lane as expected here. They're probably going to be looking for the rotations. Again, I think what we need to be looking for here, guys, is the Johanna passive. Actually, it looks like eLevate's going to move down and help the Zagara get some creep out here nice and safely. I like this decision. It's going to help her dominate the lane a little bit better here. The 5-on-5 on mid, as long as the Johanna passive is working out and timed well, I think they'll be totally fine to get the clear and rotate to top.
When this team fight happens, who do you feel is most vulnerable on Something Clever? When eLevate is making their counter engage, who are they going to attempt to go for?
I think they'll kill Kerrigan. They'll have to force a D-shield as early as possible. The minute it comes out, they'll rotate. They'll just swap to Kael'thas over in the team fight. I think that's what we'll see out of them. Again, we're seeing, I think, poor rotations coming out from Something Clever here. Honestly, they aren't getting much. They're losing the wave clear, and they aren't able to force a fight right now. As we see, they're actually just trying to chase them down in these 4-man rotations, and that's not what they can't have that happening here. They need to get the team fighting, and being behind in rotations is just going to set them so far behind in this game. They're losing an early game that they have to win with this type of composition.
Yeah, they're very spread out right now, too. Their team is not together.
On bottom, Haku getting engaged on. Actually, the stun comes out, and the combo is going to be dodged here by Haku.
No engagement there. All of eLevate is together, the 4-1 split as they should be. It just looks like Something Clever is strung out when they move. They're not moving as a unit.
Oh yeah, very much so. They're trying to figure out what they're gonna do. They're actually only rotating with a 3-man rather than a 4, and I think that's honestly setting them behind a lot. They keep somebody separated with the rest. Actually, Nesper gonna get a counter engage here on the variations. The combo is actually gonna hit, but Debonair, I don't know if he's gonna make it out here. He does have his leap, and actually he's gonna barely survive. Again, I think that was because they aren't sticking as a 4-man in the rotations, which is really setting them behind here. Behind eLevate, they are trying to counter push on top, but I don't think it's going to be enough for them here. Nesper actually is going to go really aggressive here. Johanna with the W. I don't think Poseidon's going to make it out of here, and nope, he is definitely not going to. They're actually going to get the clear here too, and again, just falling behind in an early game that they absolutely need to win.
Yeah, more than half a level behind. It doesn't seem like a lot, but it's going to compound over time. This lets eLevate turn in the spider gems.
Spoder gems.
The Spoder gems, yeah, able to turn those in.
24 turned in this early is actually really detrimental to Something Clever, especially because of how early base their comp is. This map snowballs very heavily for the first team that turns in. It's definitely, if they wait in towards roughly the 10 mark, if they end up pushing this level advantage to the 10 mark before they turn in, that's going to lead to more than front walls and forts. That's going to be leading to, honestly, a 15-minute game. Like, that strategy is very hard to deal with, and variations, again, just slowly falling, going to get the engage.
4-on-3 again.
Yep.
Takes Kerrigan down.
It's the rotations. They're deciding to not move as a 4-man at any point, and we've never seen eLevate. Their little death ball here, their 4-man squad, has never separated. Meanwhile, in the bottom lane, Zagara hasn't had anything to worry about. There's been no pressure from the Kerrigan onto her, and that's going to keep setting them farther and farther behind here from Something Clever.
I don't know if Something Clever thinks that they're making up for soak XP by keeping one person in the lane. Obviously, eLevate isn't losing soak. They're making the rotation perfectly, and they're picking up kills. They're more than a full level ahead now, a level and a half.
I think their mentality, honestly, in this type of situation, is that they are going to, they don't want to commit everybody to the rotation because they have less wave clear. But what they don't understand is one Kael'thas DQ mixed with Kerrigan spamming her Q on a wave would be enough to actually get a counter clear and be able to match eLevate here in their 4-man rotations. And I really think they aren't taking that in consideration. Poseidon is going to actually get picked here, and the top lane and Venom will be enough to actually, no, the Uther here, barely keeping him alive there. I like it. But the turn in.
I really did think he was going to go down, but yeah, that's a turn in for eLevate. A 4.5 minute, 5 minute spider turn-in. I'm not sure how strong they're going to be. That's a pretty early turn-in.
It's enough to snowball this game to where there is almost no recovery. What we're going to see is a 4-man push coming in on top here. The minute the web weavers hit, they're either going to force the fort or back out, rotate, and force mid-fort. It's going to get them to roughly 8.5 to 9. At this point, then they're going to hit the 10 period, and they're just going to look to get another turn in because they have enough gems and force as hard as they possibly can. They're up at talents here. They know the opponent can't deal with them. There's not much to say, honestly, coming up from something like Clever on how they can improve this situation. I think a lot of it came down to the early game rotations. That's just the story of this game.
Yeah. They really needed to be aggressive, and they were on the defense, actually. They weren't even passively collecting gems and turn-ins. They were on the defense and losing.
Yeah.
They just lost the majority of the gems they had there. The death from Murden, he was carrying about 20 gems. That was half of their turn-in they had.
Yeah, no, and losing those gems is now going to stop a counter turn-in. That was honestly the only moment of hope really sitting in favor of something Clever here to turn this game around, because now we see the level 10 is being hit here. The gems are sitting, we have roughly 25 to 30 in the mid lane. We have 15 on bottom. Another turn is going to be in favor of eLevate coming here after this turn in is going to hit, and they're going to have 10 advantage. They are going to dictate the pace of this game. Plus they have Sylvanas and absolutely great siege. They're just going to force this mid keep here, disable it with Sylvanas, possibly get a great Maw in order to turn this team fight. I think they're definitely going to be looking to force whenever they can here.
Absolutely. They've gotten all of the outer forts, all 3. There's no reason not to fight. They are hitting 11, actually, now. Uther is going to go down. Vala is very close to dying. She can't engage.
No, yeah, and that was a really good decision-making there coming from the Sunder. One thing I actually didn't like to see there out of that team fight, actually getting the final pick there from the W and the poison coming out, the disable. This is going to be a full keep here. In the middle of that team fight, we saw they actually stacked Sunder with Maw. We had a 1-man Maw on Kil'Thas and then a 3-man Sunder, or actually a 4-man Sunder that was splitting the remainder of the team. I definitely feel like we should have waited a little bit on the Sunder until the Mog, and so we could have gotten full effectiveness. But with this big of an XP lead, you can make hyphy plays like that, and it's not going to punish you. There's almost absolutely like no risk for just going over aggressive. Even if you miss a couple of ults, it's going to pay out. Again, they're going to look for the turn in here, just pushing the momentum more and more in their favor. Something Clever, not even going to be level 10 here to try and deny them. Sylvanas is going to be able to help them with the turn in, or help them even more, disabling the forts and keeps even more with these turn-ins. I don't see many decisions that they can make coming from Something Clever that is actually going to turn this game in their favor.
No, they lost over, I think it was total 40 to 50 gems in those team fights, and to add insult, they're going to go ahead and pick up the boss, eLevate now. It's not like Something Clever can contest. There aren't 10. The level difference and talent difference is so large they can't fight.
Oh yeah, they're looking to try, honestly I think they're looking to end the game here. They realize how big of an advantage they had. They started the boss, they finished the turn-in, and now they're going to be pushing with Web Weavers in the top lane, Sylvanas, level 10 advantage, and a boss. Honestly, as long as they force the fight aggressively here, they're going to win this game. Right now, honestly, like, they're just going to go hard. Look at Nesper. He knows the advantage that his team's going to have. He's going to try and hit a big Sunder. He's going to wait a little bit here, but Sylvanas is going to concentrate on disabling as much as they can. Johanna, Zagara, and Thrall is who we need to look at in this team fight. How they force this engage is going to be very, very important to whether or not they become successful.
I just wonder at the pick of Kerrigan and then such the disuse of her character.
Beautiful.
Oh wow, that was a huge Maw. 4-man Maw, 3-man Maw.
Yeah. No, that was an absolutely great, like I said before this game started, the Zagara Maw with the Sunder. The Sunder hit on a 3-man, followed up by a nice Maw. They did actually lap Wailing Arrow and Maw at the same time there, which honestly, like, they have too big of a level gap for this to be punished when they overlap their CCs like that, but it's not going to matter. They're going to end up taking the keep. They're going to go for the core. And that's going to be GG here. Almost 9 minutes here on Tomb of the Spider Queen with really, really aggressive and great play coming out from eLevate there that game. It kind of played exactly how we expected it to.
Absolutely.
Like, as long as the rotations were weak and the aggression didn't come out of Something Clever there, we weren't going to see much out of them, and that was exactly what happened. They didn't make the rotations, they didn't seem to look aggressive, and the split pushing, hard engage, hard CC. Just a really great team comp in my opinion out of eLevate. Just snowballed in their favor.
Yeah, that there needs to be a new word. Snowball is not a strong word for what happened there.
I don't know. Bouldered. I can't find
Av- Avalanche. Yeah, that
Avalanched
was
in their favor. Yeah,
yeah,
no,
that was out of control.
it was definitely pretty interesting to see their approach on how that comp should be played from something clever. Like I said, I think four-man rotations and not using the Kerrigan to at least try and gank the Zagara on bottom or something. I don't even think I saw a combo that came out in an aggressive stance. It was almost always defensive. Murden and Kilthos were never really directly together in rotations, and that's what you can't do. Like, you just can't do those kind of things with that type of composition. And to be fair, though, rotations are a very difficult thing to understand. What is a smart rotation? What is the best? Even from a shot calling comms perspective, it's very difficult to truly understand how are we going to rotate? Are we making the best rotation? Can we even rotate against this team? Are very hard questions. So not knowing something clever, them coming in against a team that is like as prestigious, if you will, as eLevate, I don't feel like they put it a poor game against them. I just feel like they made a few small mistakes for 4 minutes, and that snowballed. Like I said, that's why I hate that map. Actually, it snowballed the game so hard. The Avalanche in their favor to where
Yeah.
it's just not even. There is no rebuttal.
No, yeah, there was no comeback after that first turn, and it was pretty much decided.
Yeah, in the like the level 10 with the Sylvanas, Zagara, like I said, they could even just make mistakes. All they had to do with that, not even having 10 on something clever Saf, they didn't even have to think about a team fight really. Thrall pressed his "I'm gonna start a fight" button, which Sundering just absolutely demolishes with the follow up Mon, stacking even the whale and arrow. It didn't really matter there. I really like the decision coming out from eLevate, though. They understood that they had such a big lead that they were able to not only just get another turn in, they were like they took the appropriate amount of risk by starting the boss and then confirming the turn in and then stacking those very well together. So really good play coming out from them. I'm excited to see where they go in the next round, which I don't know if that is up yet, their opponents, because that 9-minute match is probably not mirrored by many others in this tournament here.
Yeah, no, that was very fast. I can't imagine the another game doing that. Just checking
The bracket, it doesn't look like
yeah.
anybody else has actually made it to the second round yet. eLevate is still yet to update as well. So we're probably going to be sitting here for a little bit until we get the next game started. Is there anything that you definitely, that you absolutely loved or I guess disliked other than maybe some of the points with the rotations that I brought up, like from your point of view coming up in that game?
Well, we talked about the pick of Kerrigan and then
Yeah.
the way she was used. I also liked Elevate's. I don't want to say style points, but the pick of the double specialist and how well they used it. A lot of people don't draft double specialists, or if
Yeah.
they do, don't use them to their full advantage like that. That was fantastic. I love Sylvanas. She's one of my favorite heroes to see played like that. So that was great. I'm glad they did that. You know, I said they were my favorite team in this series that I wanted
mean,
to
for
see.
good reason after that play.
Yeah, that was awesome.
Oh.
So very well done. Watch your specialists because I mean they're special for a reason. They can do some really cool things. So that was really good. I wish we had seen some better plays out of Kerrigan because she doesn't get quite enough love lately.
Yeah, I actually one of the most impressive things now that you brought up the draft again, in my opinion, I was surprised at the Thrall pick. Honest, like just coming out first pick, they take the Thrall. I don't know if I think that was necessarily the right answer. I don't think it was the wrong one. I was surprised that Zagara didn't take his place. I very much thought that was going to be a Zagara pick, waiting till the next rotation, then take Thrall Sylvanas. So it did seem like a very bold move to open with the Thrall. And again, the follow-up, as you said, the double specialist. I like their draft. I just fear that it might have been punished on a higher level of play if their opponents were if the skill difference was, I guess, closed a little bit. Would that game have gone as easily in their favor for possibly making a draft mistake there? I don't honestly know, but I agree with you. That double specialist open it set the tone for the draft, and we saw something clever try and find an answer, but definitely not pulling through with it.
Right, because something clever taking that insta pick of Kael'thas, maybe taking Zagara themselves would have changed the game quite a bit. You see Kael'thas first picked almost as often as Tyrande, but Zagara is a very, very powerful character. You shouldn't overlook her.
Yeah, very much so. I mean, she's got a lot of things going for her in the current meta too. Her damage output, CC is very, very relevant. She's actually pretty good at counter engaging as well.